guys, what's up? This is Tanha and welcome to our podcast, Creators Unfiltered, brought to you by Creators Collective. In this podcast, we will be talking to current students and GBDA alumni and, walk through their journey, hear about their experiences to the career paths they chose. And today we have a very special guest with us. She is a concept artist, graduated in the year 2020, and she has done some really cool projects like designing textbooks, apps, websites, and her surreal artworks are really popular among the GBDA community, among the students, and I'm a big fan. So everyone, give it up for Boo Chow.
Woohoo! Yay! I feel very humbled.
No, you're amazing, so.
I appreciate it. And I don't know, just to see me once being a GBA student and now having other GBA students come to me, it just feels like I guess I did something right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You did.
Mm.
So Boo, tell us about your job as a concept artist and what is it?
I got two hats on. So I got my concept art hat on, but that's more for the after hours. And then by day, I am a plush designer. So I kind of have to juggle two things at once. And as a concept designer, I kind of design more so for my world building mainly. These surreal worlds where they don't exactly embody eldritch themes, but they don't completely embody ethereal themes. It's just kind of stuck in a liminal space. So that's the kind of area I like to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And about plush designs, what is that? What do you do there?
Yeah, so I work for a local company, a startup actually, which was also founded by some of UW's alumni as well. I work for Makeship, and what we do is we collaborate with content creators, influencers. We also collaborate with indie game studios as well to create merchandise and to kind of fuel the creator economy. And one of our niches is plush toys. We also do vinyls as well. And so with being a plush designer, what I do is I talk with the clients and with the characters or the themes that they want. I'm able to translate that into something that is viable as not only a product, but something that's very huggable, very cute. So I guess that's my job as a plush designer is, I get to play around and have fun, do kind of I don't know, just relive my childhood.
Yeah, that's kind of fun, playing with plushies and designing them. It's amazing.
We'll show some on, I don't have a plushie with me at the moment, but...
yeah, that would have been awesome if we had plushies.
Yeah, I totally forgot.
It's fine, we got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some current projects that you're working on?
Ooh, a lot of the projects that I'm working on are under NDA. I'm working with a lot of exciting clients at Makeship. Although I can previously say the campaigns that I've worked with. So I've worked with RuneScape. I've worked with designing the plushies. My favorite is the gnome plush.
Ooh, interesting.
And then there's also some personal ones as well. But at the moment, I'm just kind of fulfilling my studies a little bit. Kind of picking up where I left off during the pandemic, which was just painting for fun, just kind of, I guess, exploring what this surrealist world means to me. I've also participated in a Indiegogo campaign, it was Kickstarter campaign for a storybook named Ophelia. I'm in book 1, I'm also going to be in book 2. It's a project where there's a child protagonist who goes on a journey to find her brother. It's set in this ancient Greek kind of setting, but it's very
fun. That's fun.
It's very mythological. It's very of the ancient times, and a lot of artists collaborate to draw each story panel.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. And so I was able to draw 2 panels, one for book 1 and one for book 2. We can also show that as well. And for one of them, I've done Eldritch Gods, of course. And then another one I did an Eldritch Goddess, so it didn't really change that much.
But it's different stuff, so gods and goddesses.
I swear they're different, I swear.
But there are like so much elements for each of them. So like designing them would be so fun.
Yeah.
Like,
So I had the honor of for the first one, I designed the character previously, and they wanted to buy that character off of me. And then the second one, they wanted to create a character from scratch. So that was a really exciting 3-month process of not just coming up with the sketches, but also like the composition, the design of like the character, what like each element of the character means, and how it kind of takes part in the story. And a lot of the creatures that I draw too are more so. They control the environment rather than the character kind of taking lead of their own story. It's just like, sure, there's a protagonist, but there's bigger forces around the protagonist, and I'm very glad to kind of...
important jobs, you know? Yeah.
Yep.
Important characters. That's fun. So, okay, so that's amazing, but let's go back to where you first started, you know? Like, not like first, but like, what made you apply to GBDA?
This is a funny story.
We're here for that.
So what happened was I was originally going to be applying at UW for computer science. I didn't get in because the cutoff for the average mark was pretty high. It was at a 97% or above. Crazy,
That's
crazy.
fine. That's fine. You're better here.
Yeah,
You're
and then
better.
secondly was I applied to the architecture program here at UW. But the problem was when I went on their website, I thought I submitted all the forms there, but there was different tabs for you to send. And so it was bad UX that fucked me over.
Oh, no.
And then that's why I got into GBDA,
GBDA.
which is just like, I'm going to learn what good UX is so no one else has to
No
go
one
through
else
that.
fucks up.
Yeah.
That's fun. So,
Not at the moment, but now it is.
yeah, hopefully in future you'll be doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, wait, I need to look at the question.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Okay, so you got into GBDA for like
Right.
UX.
Yeah.
So what made you motivated, like, what motivated you to get into this line, like plush designs, illustration, concept arts?
That's a great question because what I do now is nowhere near what I intended to do after GBDA.
Exactly.
I did keep up with my illustration gigs, and I did keep up with painting, but with UI UX, I just felt that was cutting a part of what I really like to do. With UI UX, it's very research based. It's very
Understanding the consumer.
understanding the consumer. It's very methodical. It's very much how do we get from A to B.
Yeah.
And as someone who's more of a storyteller who likes to kind of weave in and out and is not very efficient with, I guess, my own storytelling, I started to question, is this something that I really wanted to do? I did have design prowess. I did have web design experience. I built my own portfolios from scratch.
Yeah. Which are amazing, by the way.
Thank
They're
you.
so beautiful.
Thank you. And I did take on clients where I did just do the branding of it, and I built the website for them as well. But I don't know. I guess I got really lucky when that opportunity was presented to me. It was actually from a GBDA alumni as well.
Ooh, that's great.
So we met in first year. We took on an animation project together.
Yeah.
And I joined pretty late, so I had to do all the learning, just the catch up, and then from there on, I was able to contribute my part as a team. And then we never really talked to each other after. It was until after I graduated in 2021 that she reached out to me, and she was just like, "We need a designer."
Ooh.
So at first, I thought I was going to go in for UI UX, but plans have changed. They needed a product designer, so I got sniped.
Oh, nice. In a good way, though.
Yeah, and so what kind of helped was a lot of my drawings. Sometimes I like to be really technical. I like to do the front view, the side view, the back view.
Yeah.
I like to kind of fully flesh out something. You know, I don't know what exactly I'm going to do with it. So I credit that for also giving me a leg up into getting into where I am right now.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like that's gonna be similar for a lot of GBDA students. Like you start in a like you start from some place, but then eventually you branch out to something else, and that's like one good thing about GBDA, that you can like you have that option of like learning different stuff to like branch out into different directions.
It's just, yeah, the program is so flexible, even though they do have like a strong path of UI UX designers, where it's just like you can see the outcome of the UI UX designers. You see like, oh my god, Amazon, Shopify, like Meta, like you
Big
see all these
big
things.
web stuff.
And it was during the UI UX designer boom as well, where it's just like, we got to get on this. We can't miss it. It's Cali or bust, right? And so we get a little fixated on what is the most successful way, that sometimes the what do I want to do comes after. And I feel like for me, that was probably the most telling case, where I know I'm good at this, but is it really what I want to do with it? Not quite. So had I not had that connection, I still probably would have like just went from UI UX to illustrating gigs, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Fun. Okay, so Waterloo really advertises its like networking events and like job opportunities and co-op options and stuff like that. And what do you think? Like, did you, from your personal experience, especially, like, did you really benefit from that, like from those opportunities, or was it like more of the stuff that you did by yourself, like connecting with people, or did those events really help?
I feel like in this economy where people feel like they need a degree, I feel like sometimes there's a little bit of complacency where going into this program, they'll be handheld and it'll be enough, which is not the case right now, or not the case ever in probably like the last 5 to 10 years. Because now that there's so many people coming in with like the same like credentials, it's harder to differentiate yourself, which is why networking events are just so vital into not just saying, I have a degree in this, and then saying that, oh, I don't have 3 to 5 years of experience, which does suck. It's like, I get to meet these people. I get to show them who I am. I get to, just give them my portfolio and see what they think. I get to see what they think about their own, like, projects, too.
Yeah.
But I also think that there's an extra initiative to go get things on your own if you want it. If you want to illustrate during GBDA, like, there are people who illustrate, and there are people who are willing to, like, share what they know and what their brushes are. Like, there's just so many things where, like, you can apply yourself even outside of GBDA. I've gone to a lot of hackathons and like game jams. Even though like I'm illustrating, I'm not coding behind it, they still need assets.
Yeah.
So I'm here to give them the story and the assets. And then I would consider that experience as well. I would consider that if I'm able to apply these skills elsewhere and have the theory that I learned from school and whatever like courses I'm taking on the side, then I should be able to like go out there and produce something and say, hey, that's mine.
Exactly.
So whether or not whether or not school has helped you or not, yes, but there's more to it as well.
Yeah.
And I encourage people to reach out of GBDA even, where it's just like, I only got this textbook gig of drawing airplanes because I reached out to a job forum in the UW like job applications.
UW Works page.
That part.
Yeah.
And I was able to go, oh, they need an illustrator. I don't know shit about airplanes. Like, I don't know shit. Like, I'm reading through the textbook. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many case studies of planes crashing. But it's still so fascinating. And I'm able to have this opportunity to work with, like, a really, like, experienced professor who is so knowledgeable in these things.
Yeah.
And I'm able to, like, help her out in a way.
And you can draw airplanes.
Now I can.
Yeah, you can.
Now I can. So, yeah, it's... so much that you can do, especially with GBDA. It's not just illustrating as well. Like I've seen people get into fashion. I've seen people get into like media, making their own podcasts. Like shout out to this podcast. Yeah, and then there's also like there's writers that came out. There's like I don't know. There's so much more to this program than UI UX. All I'm saying is just get what you want. Just go out there and get what you want.
Yeah. Just go get it and
Just go get
branch
it.
out of your way.
Ask questions later. Just cry about it later. Worry about it later.
Yeah, worries for later. Just do your stuff. What do you want to do? Exactly. So, you also post a lot of your works on social media, and and you're like really active there. So, would you say that to like new artists, like baby artists who are starting their account and stuff like that, would you say that social media is like a good way to get their works out there to like a greater audience or like network and like, build connections with other artists?
That's not a guarantee, but something that you can always rely on social media to do is to archive your work. We are all slaves to time.
Yeah.
So just having a record of what you did, regardless if you like it or not, is just some way of preserving and just going like building the identity of, yes, I did this.
Yeah.
At the most base level, social media is a great place to just put something out there, but don't expect any yield or any return. Of course, you can make the connections on your own. You can follow different people. You can, join different Discord groups through social media as well. And
do those challenges like DTLS.
challenges. You can do challenges. You can also like meet with like-minded people who are also into that person's work and are also probably learning along the process as well. But ultimately, the internet might go down. You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
So at least as something to like archive what you've done, I would use it as that. In the past, I've gotten hung up with like, oh, is this post not pretty enough? Is this post like going to attract engagement?
Yeah, like the likes and the follower list.
That part,
and stuff
that
like
part.
that.
Yeah, and then you kind of get lost where now you curate your feed to appease
Your
just appease these
audience,
numbers,
yeah.
right? And while there is the option to do that, I just think that in its most like true sense, are you able to put something out there regardless if anyone's going to watch or not? I just see it as an open diary. If anyone wants to come in and see what I have, sure. If anyone wants to bounce after and move on, that's fine too. I'd much rather have that than like, I do not want stands.
Exactly.
I don't have any. I'm not there
right
yet.
here.
Do not. You need to retire.
No, I feel like I learn a lot through your posts though. Like, the ones where you like dissect your artworks and it's like tell what you did, how you did it, and like.
Oh, I go into like an artist statement.
Yeah,
I don't
an
care. I
entire
don't give a
statement,
fuck. I don't
like-
care. I'm just like, this is how I'm feeling in this moment. And then like the next morning, I regret it, but I was just like, I'm not gonna edit it. I'm not gonna edit it
But
because
those
that's how
are
I
helpful.
feel in the moment.
Those are helpful like baby artists for me. I'm like, oh, okay, insight, yeah, fun.
Yeah, and even now, I'm just doing studies at the moment. All I'm doing is just like headshots of my character. But I'm starting to think it would be really fun to kind of show the background progress and also like my thoughts. What are my references?
Yeah.
Like, what are my like artistic styles that I'm inspired by? I'm thinking of being a little bit more open with that. I kind of kept these sources close to my sleeve, close to my chest. But I'm thinking maybe it would be fun to share with other people regardless if they care about it or not. I think that would be fun. So that's going to be my goal moving forward.
That's nice. So, what would your advice be to people who would like to, get into this line, like concept works and like designing characters, and like where should they start from? How do they build their portfolio?
That's a hefty question. With concept art, I'm not exactly professional. I've done campaigns, I've done one-off projects, I've even just started my own stuff. But with concept art, there are so many resources. I learned through the internet.
Yeah, honestly.
I started on DeviantArt, right? I started with Sonic OCs. I started with Kingdom Hearts OCs. I started with like Yaoyo, right?
Okay, that's some tea. That's some tea.
Yeah. So I was just like, at first it started with, how do I get the stuff that's in my head on the paper?
Yeah.
Right? And I can't thank the internet enough for providing so many resources for free.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
There's so many courses to get you started. I'm not a professional in this. I'm still on like the process of learning as well. Where I started as illustrating, I make things pretty, but can I make like design that communicates characters in a way where you look at them and you know, okay, I know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I know what like they're like. I know what they eat for lunch.
Yeah, that's important. Like getting into the details of their personality through art.
There's so many professionals out there. There's room for everyone. And so what I would encourage people to do is check out proco.com. I would check out on YouTube Cynic's Designs. I'll give you the links as well.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll give you like Marco Bucci, like Sam does art.
I know.
Like heck, throwing raw straws as well.
Raw straw.
Like, oh, and I guess I'll give my inspirations as well. There's also Peter Moorbacher, which I had the honor of designing a makeshift plush for.
Ooh, okay, we need to hear more about that. But
Yeah. And so like Peter Moorbacher, like Cynic's Designs is also one of my inspirations. Yume was also who I really looked up to in my youth.
Yeah.
Like her surrealist drawings is what just got me into like moving from realism to just whatever like goes on in this conscious mind.
Yeah, her works are amazing. Like no words.
Yeah, and I do take I do have a lot of reverence for like there's also Kim Jung-ji as well. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the internet has a lot of stuff out there to like learn from.
So many. And I encourage people to, if they can afford it, pay for the courses. You'll learn so much more, and even though they're video courses, like it's just kind of like you stepping behind the scenes of going, okay, what are their decisions that they're making? Like what makes this artwork their artwork? Like how are they going to use these like digital tools to kind of craft these characters that make you go, okay, that's Yume, or okay, that's like Gue's, or that's like I don't know, like
that's like
Loish.
Yeah, that's like Loish. Yeah.
There's so much. I encourage people to pay for the courses. It's worth it. Like a couple $100 for like really big courses, or just throw like a $5 or a $10 for like one-off courses. Oh, Kren's Kush Art. I need to send you their art too.
Yeah. Do please.
His tutorials are so funny. Like he's a professor, but one time he's just filming his kind of, I guess, lessons, and it was late of night.
Oh.
The students, they're hungry as fuck. They're hungry. And he's just waving a bowl of noodles in front of their face, and he's just flashing noodle pictures on like the side screen. He's
That's
just
like torture.
He's like, I know you want this. I know you like this.
Yeah.
Worth $10. That was $10. Yeah. I don't know. There's TLDR, ask the professionals, and they're willing to give you the answers. Just go into their DMs. They'll answer you as well. Like they're probably mentors on the side, so they're used to questions.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like a lot of baby artists, they're like scared to reach out to people, like thinking that, what if this person doesn't notice me? What if I'm rude? But honestly, when you're talking to professionals, they're happy to answer. They're happy to help you, as long as you really want to learn and you know what you're asking, like, and not like just, hey, I want to copy your art. Like, don't do that.
Or it's like, hey, teach me to draw. So it's like,
yeah, like, what do you want to learn? Really, like, just pick up a pencil and draw something.
Like, at least try something, and then like be like, I'm confused about this. Where do I go from here?
Yeah. help is really out there on the internet. So just like reach out, branch out.
There's a lot of free
Get it.
resources too, so
Yeah, even Pinterest and Behance, like
I have so much stuff on my Pinterest.
yeah, the Pinterest is like really helpful because they'll give like breakdowns of all the art, like sketches.
Not just that too. One thing that's really cool about Pinterest is what you can do is say you're researching about like 16th century like inquisitor like Spanish outfits, or like not outfits but like armor. You can literally search that up. People will make boards of that resource, and you could follow that resource. You don't have to like pin everything by yourself. You can just like follow someone else's curated board.
Exactly.
And then that way it's just like you have a resource on hand that you didn't like have to like put in the sweat to do.
Yeah.
Someone already sweated for you.
Like it's already out there. Just get it.
The internet.
The internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. We're doing good, honestly. I feel like we're like giving out really good information.
I hope so.
Yeah. So you work on a lot of projects, and there must be like tons of deadlines for those.
Oh yeah.
So what are like the downsides? How does it affect your mental health, like with the work pressure of designing constantly, being on the run all the time, working 24/7 maybe?
As you can tell from this podcast, time is not my friend. So I've been shafted many times by time, including this time when I came in late.
Yeah,
But
fine.
yeah, but in terms of deadlines, I feel like from what I've learned, there is a skill that you need to build with communication, not just with the other person who is going to be part of that deadline as well, but also with yourself. Like, is this something that I can do? Is this something that is manageable during whatever time frame that I'm given? Is this something that I can keep up with without feeling burnout? Is there any way that if I do feel burnout, like how much time do I think I'll need for that?
So that was like some really good talk, some really good advices from you. We are slowly moving towards the ending segment of our episode today. So, what would your advice be to baby artists or like new illustrators that are thinking of starting a career that's similar to yours? Like,
I feel like one of the best advices is to start. There's lots of imposter syndrome, especially when it comes to the creative space. And there's a lot of overthinking, deliberating, a lot of pondering, a lot of existential moments where it's just like,
am I good enough?
do I even start? And it's just, those are welcome questions to ask, but they don't get you anywhere. And so if I were to offer my one truest advice is to try first and cry later. Yeah. At least if you're going to like be sad about not being good enough, at least try.
Yeah.
And then like acknowledge it's like, okay, here's the things I need to move on. Like here's the things I need to learn from. Here's how I move on. Like what's your goal in mind? Like forget about like, am I good enough to be like at Riot? It's just like, what's your goal? Do you want to like design characters for Riot? Do you want to design like worlds for like your characters to live in and like kind of profit off of that? Do you want to maybe it's not even character design, like maybe it's like environments are more your affinity, more your type.
Yeah.
Like I feel like asking what you want rather than asking if you belong or asking if you're good enough is just a way where you can get a head start at, like in front of everyone. Everyone's asking, should I do this? Should I not do it?
Yeah.
Be the person that asks, what do I want?
Yeah, exactly. That's like really like, what do you want? What do you want to create? Yeah.
I feel like at least back up the insecurity. Like at the very least, like at least like be like, yeah, I failed, but I'm still gonna keep going because that's what I want. Like I did freelance. It didn't go too well, but at least I tried it and I knew like, okay, this is not working out for me. I get to problem solve as to how do I move forward from that. Like too many people put the label failure on them before they actually try. I was just like, that's a title you need to earn. You need to earn the title of failure before you actually call yourself that, right?
Yep.
You can't be scared and then just not start something. Like, you can't fail if you don't start something. You have to actually do something to fail. And so what I would encourage you is just fail as much as you can. Like, just go like, okay, you know what? This is not working. This is not working. This is not working. How do I move on from there? So I don't stay in that kind of failure, but move on to an elevated failure. Like, move on. Like,
own your failures, fail upwards, level up on your failures. But you know, when you I've heard this, that when you compile all your failures, you might just become successful at one thing, because you learn at different stages of failure. Like, you fail one
you learn
thing,
what not to do.
You learn what not to do, and then you figure out what to do.
Yeah.
So you own up.
Yeah.
And you level up. Yeah.
So I wouldn't be here if I was told that, I guess I was told that, this is not something that is viable. This is not something that I can do. And I guess there was a time and moment, especially in high school, where it's just like, you know what? Maybe I can't do this, but that wasn't proven. That wasn't proven. I encourage you, the taste of failure is not as bad as you think. Try it. Try a little sip,
Yeah. Don't be scared of failure. That's like the most important thing. So just
failure
do it.
Can't hurt
fail.
you. It's not real. No,
Get back up. You'll be fine. Yeah. So you're freelancing.
Not now.
Not now.
I'm working for Makeship and just kind of running my Instagram account on the side.
Okay, that makes sense. So most artists, concept artists or designers, freelance, is it more common for them to freelance, or do they work for organizations more? Which one is more common?
It's a lot harder to freelance on your own, just out of high school or out of university. It's very hard because you're starting from scratch and you're not building any connections.
Yeah.
So what the most common path is to go to some kind of establishment, network there, potentially work for a company, and then through there, with your own time, kind of explore what you want. And if whatever you explore what you want is successful, sometimes there's a decision that, okay, maybe I'll go freelancing and this is viable on my own. Or they have a Miley Cyrus moment where it's just I'm going to be half here, half at work, and then I'm going to have my own side gig at home.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That makes more sense.
That's going to be the plan for me. I hope I can do both at the same time. But for now, we'll just stick with the company.
Yeah, definitely. That would be fun, honestly, to see you freelancing and other gigs and exploring your way out there.
We'll see.
We'll see. The future is bright.
Yeah.
It is.
I graduated during the worst time, 2020, so I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Honestly. Okay. So, any final words that you want to say to the listeners out there?
Any final words? I don't know. Time is our enemy.
Yep, definitely.
Do whatever you can. Ponder less, do more.
Fair enough. That's all. And don't be scared of failure. Don't be afraid.
That part.
Yeah. So it's been honestly great, Boo. It was lovely to have you. Thank you for giving us your time. It was I feel like I really learned a lot, because I do want to go. I was thinking of going to that line, and having your insight in this career path really helped me. It's really gonna help me decide on how I should proceed with things. So thank you for that, and thank you for our listeners and viewers for joining us today on our first episode. It's been a pleasure, and I hope to see you guys again next month, where we will have another creator talking to us about another very interesting career path and walking us through it and telling us their experiences and journey. And till then, stay good, stay safe, stay happy, and bye-bye. Woo!